Let's see about getting started here with video number 3. Um, Before we get good and started, um, my new test runner came out. You can see this up here. It came out today. Today's the 27th of July, and the mod desk has changed from 74 to 76, I believe it was. Hang on a minute. Let's see here. Yes, 76. So all you gotta do is just change this to 6, and now the map is up to the correct mod desk version. Just save it, and I'm gonna so we don't get confused, I'm gonna back out all this because I was working on something else a little bit ago. I did hear back with Crater Lake this morning. It failed for a couple different things. Nothing real big, nothing major. I done fixed it all but the fields, and I think I may use it as a second way to show you how to do fields as a part of the tutorial in its own self. There was something else that I wanted to address before I got started, and for the life of me I can't remember what that is. I think we left off getting ready to do the animal dealer, so we'll get back into it and get the animal dealer set up. Alright, so start. Let's just build us a little road right here. Oops. What's wrong here? Subtract. Oh, that's what's wrong. That looks good enough. Now let's clear this off an area here. Now, let's go see if we can find us a shed. You know what? Why not? Let's just use this. I usually use this one over here. But I'm going to do it different this time. Okay, so as you see, we highlighted this, and since we highlighted that, these two things here are also in with that. So you can do two different things. You can leave all that in there and then place it around this building when you're done for detail, or you can just delete it once we get it moved over there. So I'm going to Control C, hit my button, and then come down here and hit it again, and then put Control V, and there, now we have this on our own to use. Somebody had asked me, or I'd seen a comment or something about pulling something from the map to make it placeable with it. Pretty much all you do is what I just did and bring it down here by itself, and you're going to want to save this. Just export it with the files, but save it into its own folder, and we ain't going to get into all that right now. Alright, so let's get up here and build us a place to get our animals. Alright, so pretty sure I'm gonna have to do something different here, because I don't think that that is square, but it might be. Okay, back up here, round, square. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's do this dirt. And we probably should make this minus 90. So it's facing towards our building over here. Okay. I'm just going to delete these ones. I don't really need all of them. Just make sure they're all right here around this building. Alright. Okay, so we got that set up there. So now we need to get our animal dealer stuff over here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the dealer stuff, the actual buying the stuff up front, or the animal trigger here in the front, and then here in a little bit we'll put in a sell point. I'll show you how to put in a sell point, and we can put a bell sell point in here, and we'll put like a sell all in here. That way, again, if you want to play on the map, you can play on it. Once we get, before I get too far ahead, once we get this set up, I think we're going to do farmlands, and then we'll do this other stuff. So that way you can set up the farmlands however you might want to suit your play, or if you just want to make the whole map so when you get on it you own the whole thing. I'll show you exactly how to do that. But let's get this set in here first. So Control B. Sometimes you'll run into these to where I don't know what it is about them, but they don't want to be the same height as what they need to be. I think you could probably go in here, yeah, and make this Y 0, and they'll all be the same, but it's just easier to leave them like they are and adjust it right here. And if this is a little high off the ground, it doesn't really matter. There's no collision on it, so you can drive right through it. Now if it gets way up off the ground, it does look kind of like you can, yeah, see, that wouldn't look real good, but like that, you never really know the difference. So let's yeah, that needs to be 0, and we're gonna leave that alone, put that there like so. Now, animal loading triggers. I'm pretty sure we done zeroed all that out, didn't we? No, we didn't. Cool. Alright, so just make it all 0. 0, 0, 0. And this too. 0, 0, 0. So now you're starting with all 0, and you can just take that and Control B, course, your middle mouse button or your mouse button, and then bring this right over here. And what I'll do is I'll step down here. Okay, that's 626, so let's just do 626. Oops. There we go. And what was that one? 474. 474. See, it lined it up in there pretty good, didn't it? Yep, looks pretty snazzy, huh? Now this, we're just going to make 88 and leave it alone. Alright, so, okay, so the animal trigger is there. So now, just click on it. Let's go ahead and save first. Save's your best friend. Every time you do something, no matter, especially when you start new, it's best to just keep saving. That way every little thing you do is saved, so if you do mess up, at least you ain't got to go back and redo what you already done. I still today, when I do maps, I get myself in a hurry and I forget things, and thank God I got good testers. He finds every damn thing. Alright, so what we got to do now is we're going to hit this. We're going to Control Shift Copy, or C, and we need to go over here, go into our maps again, this map right here, and then we got to come down here and find the animal dealer. And you're going to do like we did on the shop trigger. You're going to replace all this. Control V, as in Victor, we'll put that there. And then Control V here again. Now remember, take this out of here. Now, save. I'm going to go back into the map here. Okay, so that's good. That's there. The vehicle shop's in there. Cool. Alright, so I'm just going to take a minute and dress this up a little bit and make it look a little bit better. And then as soon as I'm done with that, we'll start with farmlands here. Oops. Oh, we all fixing them out. Let's see. It ain't very pretty, but it'll work. So let's go back to dirt. Oops, wrong thing here. Okay, so let's get our road excuse me, let's get our road put in here. And let's do gravel grass just to be different. Now a lot of times when I do my road, I will, if you see how big the circle is here, try to remember that, because then whenever you go, you know, no matter what you do, you can remember, okay, my road is, you know, 5.25 or 5, or, you know, whatever you want to make it. Alright, so now we got a road in there to get over here. Now you can always put grass in here. I'll just do it and show you what it looks like. Let's do middle. And you could just put your strip of grass down through here like so, and kind of make your road, you know, look old. That might be a little wide yet for vehicles, but usually I try to stay between, for like a single lane road, 2.5 to 3.5. I know this one's 5, but for teaching purposes, it doesn't really matter. Now you could go back, and if you wanted to dress that up some more, just keep adding different colors in there. Like you could just do, say, gravel moss, and then go up here and do a little, and maybe you want to put some dirt in there. The more of this little stuff you do, in the long run, the better it looks. And this is the one thing that I absolutely hate doing. Um, I'm getting a little better with it, but I just have never been a fan of all the little details. Does it look good? Hell yes, it looks good. I just don't have the patience for it. Like there's nothing more enjoyable than getting on a map and just looking at the amazement that somebody has put into it. Whether it be simple like mine or complex like the big guys are. Um, Either way, it always excites me. All right, enough of that. So I'm gonna save it one more time, and before we start doing the farmlands, I'm gonna test it in game. Now you can do that and leave this up, so just leave it up. But make sure you save it, because if you didn't save it, the stuff that you just did won't show up. It'll be reading off the old one before you start it. Just back out all that, and make sure it's in there, and just fire it up. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is you don't have to, as long as you're not playing crossplay or online, your mods do not have to be zipped. You can throw them in there and use them. I always zip mine up because, well, it's just something I like to do once I'm done with it. Sometimes when I make a map about halfway through it, I'll go ahead and decide on a name and name it, zip it up, and then have a fresh copy that way. That way if I need to start over somewhere. But while we're here, a little funny story is I actually started a game save on this map on my Xbox. Okay, cool. No errors. So, if we did things right, yeah, I see the shop trigger over there, or the cow trigger already, so, or animal trailer. See the difference in how the grass looks? I really think that the grass texture, especially like field textures, could be a little better. Um, this to me looks more like grass than what this does. This is, I mean, I know it's ready to harvest and it's almost dead, but I just think it could look better. To me, it looks like wheat green. Boom. There we go. These are already in the. These were the ones I didn't delete. That's why they're here. I'm gonna show you how to move them around here a little bit too. It's, if you notice, they wasn't in the map when we were in there messing with it. These load in from the base game. So in other words, you kind of import them in there, set them where you want them, do all the detail around them, then and then you delete them out of the map, and then it just loads it out of the base game. That's how the file sizes stay small. Now, a lot of my stuff, I have these in here edited. Like this thing here, I think is a couple different things depending on what map you're on. But yeah, all right. So that worked. So we can just back out of there. And by the way, to get out of that, you just push the Windows button on your keyboard if you have it. Down to be mine's the second from the bottom left. Alright, so we're going to close out of that, and we're going to go back in here. Now farmlands. So I'm going to back out of here, or back up here to where you can see everything real good. Alright. Now, just in case I mess up, I like to leave that at nothing. So here's your farmlands. Now before we do them, there's some other stuff right here I always do. If you push this button down, you see all this stuff. Now, the indoor mask is for like snow. So in other words, wherever this is on the map at, and let's just push on it, and then this right here is how you switch into that mode. Now you would think that all the white is where that mask's at, but it's not. And if you remember on Elm Creek, none of the roads have snow when it snows, and this is why. You can see right there. They have the road fixed so the snow won't lay on it. Now, hit your button. Now see how it turned all that red or pink to white? This is what you want to delete out of here. So all you do is you got your button pushed. You got to make your circle bigger. I'm going to do my 2000 again. And then, make sure you're on subtract, and then just push subtract, give it a minute. All gone. So now snow will fall and stick and lay on every part of this map until we put snow mask down again. Now with that being said, let me back out of here. Look, I just deleted all the grass out of here because I wasn't paying attention. So go back. Alright. Get off of it. Okay, so let me make sure the grass is still in here. Okay, cool. Alright, since we're down here. The one place you do need snow masks is around your buildings. So in other words, like if you drop this down here and it snows, even though it has the mask on the top of it for snow mask from the base game, snow will still fall in here. So what you do is you come down here and you hit that button again, and down here, and then leave your indoor mask on, leave that up, and then this is another reason why I like to try to keep everything on a 0 or 90-degree term, is so you can use a square on this kind of stuff. So now you can take your square and just go out to the edge like so. I do a little bit of overkill just because now I don't think snow will fall in here with that trigger being there, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I am going to knock a little off here so it looks like somebody shoveled the path to the door. Excuse me. Back when I started in 19, I was a newbie. Like, I didn't know nothing. And I started with mods and thought that I could do that, which I did. I did edits of mods. Thank goodness everybody, don't mind you using their work. But I'd take 2 or 3 trucks and build something that I thought, somebody would like. And it turned out, it did pretty good. Well, then I started trying to learn how to map. And, I didn't ask a lot of questions. I tried to learn everything on my own. I'm just going to talk and put down snow mask. But I was learning is editing. And so in other words, when I say edit something or editing something, it's like you're taking, say for instance, you pulled this map from the base game and you love it, but you don't like certain areas of it. So you pull it out of here, you make your own version. I'm showing you this stuff to help you make your own map, and or that way, okay, I love this map, but I hate this part of this map. That way you can adjust your own play, your own way you like to play. And even though I'm doing that, you really shouldn't release somebody else's work unless you've got permission, just out of respect. And so if you do happen to edit a map, say one of my maps, just reach out to me and be like, hey man, I did this and this to this map, can I release it? Probably 98 or 99.8% of the time I'm going to tell you yes. As long as I know, you know, you did a good job on it. I might ask it to look over it first just to make sure, because sometimes edits don't always turn out good. Alright, so we got snow mask under that. We're going to put a little bit under this one too. I'm doing this because I got to do it for, you know, for my maps anyway, so it's just second nature for me. Sometimes I do forget it. I'll go in, usually when I first do a map, I go in and delete all this stuff, that way I ain't got to worry about it later. But I got, you know, trying to do this, I'm trying to do things a little differently than I do myself. So I don't, so maybe it's not as confusing, I hope. I'd rather, if I'd have showed you this in the beginning, and then we came back to this part, and somebody would be like, well, why didn't you show me that in the beginning? Well, that's why I wanted to do it all at one time. And alright, so we got snow mask under them two things, so we're good to go with that. Alright, let's back out of here again, and finish wiping all the other stuff out of here. That's really the only one I know what it does. I'm sure these other ones, if I learned what they were, would probably work better for me. But for now, we're just gonna get rid of all of it, because we don't need it. Now see, that's just a train track right there. So you can just delete it. All done. Tip collision is pretty much the same as snow collision. Anywhere you put this down, you won't be able to dump there. Placement collision is the same thing, so anywhere you put that, you can't put a placeable down, for instance. That would be the best way. I mean, I know, like I said, I guess I do know what they are now that I think about it, but I ain't never used none of them. I always delete them out there and done. Okie dokie, let's get over here in a little better position. Alright, now it's time for the fun stuff. Farmlands. Now, you push on this button now. You're like, what the hell is all that? So, all them different colors, the purple is land that you cannot buy. In other words, like if you're in the game and you want to own that piece of land and can't, and to be honest with you, I don't know how to make it do that. I'm not exactly sure how that works. But the way I look at it, if you take your time to do a map, you ought to have the whole map available to you. So what we could do right here is, I think you can delete them all. I'm going to try. I ain't never done it this way, but I'm going to try right now. So see what happens. No, it didn't delete nothing. Alright, so we'll come over here, and all this is your farmlands. It says up 63. To get to 63rd one, you have to add it to the, I haven't found one yet with 63 already done in the XML part. But for instance, we're just going to start with farmland 1. So I think that is what you own when you start. I can't remember now with what I've done to the map so far, but anyway, so if you just want to have the map to play on yourself, it's covered in all one. I would probably do this anyway to start with, just so you can start working off of that and knowing that, you know, I think yeah, There, I could delete it that way. So maybe let me try something different here. I'm gonna learn myself something while we're at it. So say we do that. Now, okay, so it won't delete it, but if you come over here, push on farmland 1 or 2, let's stay on 1 just so we all on the same page, and then hit delete. There you go. So now you can start with a whole map to start doing your farmlands. So do not use these buttons here. If you want to put in multiple farmlands, just hit farmland 1. And let me get my brush back down here to a manageable size. So I know our career starting point is right in there. Okay, cool. So we're going to make ourselves own this chunk, this hill and this chunk right here, so that way when we start the game we own this area. Alright. Okay, then I lost my train of thought. So we want this. I don't need that right now. I don't need that right now. Alright, so farmland 1, so just paint her white. And we'll come right up here alongside this. We'll come down through here and then go over this direction. Now you can make it nice and pretty and square. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it on in here so we can get on to the next part. Okay, so now when you start the game, this will be what you own. So let's do number 2. Just keep going on down the line, like so. I did overlap there some, but again, I'm just trying to kind of show you what's going on here. And then we're going to do 3. Let's do 3 right here. Do 4. I'm doing this so that way when we get ready to do fields, we can put a field in each one of these, so I can show you how the contracts and all that stuff works. That's why I'm doing 4 of them. Let's see here. Okay, so I think that's good with that. But I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, so we ain't got to mess with it later, is I'm going to go ahead and paint the rest of it in 1. So that way we ain't got to worry about not being able to play on any area or mess around on any area. So let's do that. So let's go. Now if you please control R over any of these while you're in this mode, it'll take it to that. So we want number 1, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to paint this little bit right here 1, 2, so that way cool. Alright, so let's do not that. Oh, come on now. I hate it when I accidentally do things. There we go, now that's the way I like it. Let's do 500. Now, for some reason, you don't get all this colored in, and there's a little old pixel somewhere, it'll give you a warning for that. And you'll have to go back and depending on how many farmlands you got, meticulously look at each one to see if you can find a place where you you know, forgot to call around the place. Alright, that's done, so we're going to save that. Alright, now farmlands are done. Pretend they're done. uh, Alright, so that's done. We saved it. So now we need to go back over here into our map project and go to maps and then go to farmlands. And we only done 5, remember? Or was it 5 or 4? I can't remember now myself. So let me click off this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we only done 4. So we're gonna come over here, back over here to the farmlands, and just delete these because we don't need them. Or for this, you may still need them, but just delete it. So save. So now when we start the game, the default property is the number 1. So we'll own almost all the map, and then we'll have 3 other ones here for me to show you things later. Alright, so that's good. That's saved. We don't need this no more. So out of here, out of here. Now what else? How long have I been at this already? 36 minutes. I think I still got time here. I'll go ahead and show you how to do some fields. So remember we saved one field here, yeah. So we saved this one field. And of course it's going to be one of them kind of fields. Shit. Okay. Let me think here a minute. Map indicators. So that field is over there. So what I'll do whenever I get ready to move a field is I'll move this up into here and then just hit it. Let's see how it did that. You don't want it to do that. Now generally I throw it into one of these when I move the whole thing over here, so it moves the whole thing with it. So I'm going to try this and see if it works. Field 1. That is not going to work. Okay. Remember I said you can back up. There, I just backed up and put it back where it needed to be. I'm going to take this and move it over here. Control B. And then I'm going to open this up, and there's a corner and a corner. Okay, so technically this right here can be a field. So just move this thing over here a little bit. Crap, I done screwed up here. So corner 1, so let's move this over here. I backed up till I got it back to where it was at and then moved it back because I hit this one and started moving it and shouldn't have. So I'm going to move this back here a little bit. I'm going to check my farmlands. So I'm in here in this middle piece and that's where I want to be. So I'm going to go back, in corner, this corner. Okay, so technically this is a field. So I'm going to hit this, or hit fields, hit this, hit fields, go to scripts, go to map, toggle render field areas, just hit it. Now see that piece we moved over here is there, that's where the field will be. But since there's more of those, the rest of that same field is over here. Now each one of these little things you see in here is why there's so many of these in here. So I'm going to do this, Control shift, pull these down here, clean out of this map area, or out of this field. So now this is going to be field number 1. Now we got to put the map indicator in here. Just Control B, and there it is. Now that's going to say field number 1, or should. So that field's done. I'm going to delete all these. I should have did that a minute ago. Just delete them all out of there. So now just push that, Control C, copy, push back on fields, and Control V. There. So now over here, just change that to 2. Now you got field 2. Now you can use this, move it around wherever you want to. I do that sometimes, especially, you know, once I get them like this. And I'm going to do it this time to make it a little faster, but I want to see something else here. Alright, so I need to come back over this way some. Let's go down this way. This way. So your dimensions, see how it stayed in there when you moved it? That's an easy way to do that too, by the way. If you want the dimensions to stay in the center, just move the whole thing like I just did. So here we're going to make this field a little bigger than that other one. So I'm going to move it up this way some. I'm going to recheck this. I usually do the farmlands after I do the fields because it's just easier. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll stretch it down this way a little bit and make it a little wider. Alright, so corner 2 is here. So let's take this and move. Let's see what it's doing. Let's watch. Alright, so I want this field to come right there. So let's make that 100. So now I'm going to come and hit my 3, and it's up there. So just take this and make it 100. Look, now you got your nice square field back. Now if you want to make it wider, you can just take this and move this direction. So let me check this again. So yeah, I'm going to move it a little bit. So we're going to go back to, back out of this, hit field 2. And we're going to move this up a little bit and move it this way a little bit. Alright, so there will be field 2. Now I'm just going to copy and do the same thing again. Control C, push on fields, Control V. Now back over here, make this number 3. Once you change that and move away, it automatically changes it. You don't have to push enter or anything. So farmlands. We're just gonna move this on over here. Not quite that far. Notice it fell off the edge when you went over there. Funny how that works, ain't it? Alright, I need to move it down a little bit. I need to move that one down a little bit too. Control R. Well, maybe not. I thought it worked there too, but maybe it don't. So field 2 needs to come down. It looks good. And field 3 also needs to come down a little bit. That looks good. Alright. Okay, since we did that and over there 100, let's do this one 150. And then we'll do this one 150. we should be inside of our farmland. Oh yeah, plenty of room to spare. Cool. Alright, so as it stands right now, we don't own the land that these are on. So if we just open the game and go in there, these 3 fields would already be there. You ain't got to do nothing else. Like seriously, you don't have to do nothing else. The game will automatically realize that this is a field, and it'll pop up in the game and show whoever owns it in there owns it. You'll have it's already contract ready. Now, when you do fields in land that you own, it's a little different. So, we know we own all this over here. So I'm just going to copy and paste field number 2 again. And then I'm going to come back over this way so I can see my thingy. Move this over here. I know that's where we own. Yes. Now, if you don't make this field here, like literally plow it in the ground, it will not show up in there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This kind of makes it easier to get rid of the grass and stuff around your field, because you can kind of see the boundaries. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete. You don't have to delete the grass, especially if you're going to put fruit down on it. But if you're just gonna leave it a plowed field, the grass will be on top of it. This ain't perfect. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to. And if you wanted, say, dirt around the edges of the field instead of grass, you just it don't matter in here if you put it in here or not. But I'm only going to do this one side so I can show you how much difference it looks. But it don't matter what you paint this color underneath this field. Once you plow it in there, it doesn't even know it's under there. Okay, so now we want to put the field in here. Hit this button. And we're going to come back down here to right here, the foliage layer. Now, terrain detail. And then now, remember when we first started, we erased all the fields. So now we're back into here. So if you just want a plowed field, just please plowed. Now you can make this angle. I've never used that. You can make it look like, you know, put all this stuff on there. I usually don't do that. What I generally do is I just do harvest ready other. We're actually putting the field in there now. This is where you need to try to make sure you keep it, you know, pretty. See, I just went over there, but you can erase that too. I'll just go back and trim it up. Let me go ahead and just do all this without having to. It's funny how this does. Sometimes it'll delete a bunch of stuff, and then next time you try to do it, it won't do nothing you want it to do. See, I don't went too far right there, but that's okay. That's not. I need to do a little bit more right there. Well, it's not perfect, but I think you understand what I'm trying to do. So now that you got that, I'm going to save this. I should have saved it a long time ago. So save it. Now I want to hit fields again. Go back to scripts and maps and render fields. Well, see what happened? It closed it down. Sometimes when you overload it, that happens. So that's why I say always save, especially before you're going to do something big. Alright, let's go back in there. It should put us right at that field that we just finished. Yep. Okay, so in editor, this is what it looks like. This, I think this is sunflower. I believe this is one of the how the ground looks under sunflower. I believe. I just think it looks better than the regular. That's with all the extra little stuff in it. But anyhow, so if you don't want it to have any kind of plants, you can leave it alone, or you can leave it plowed, like I say. But now you want to start. You want to start with a field to harvest. So come back over here to your foliage layer, and then pick whatever it is you want it to be in there whenever you open the game. I'm gonna go corn. I don't know why I always go corn. It seems like when I do my own stuff. And then get my square back. And now you're actually putting in your. Now, whenever I do this for the start, I don't go right next up to the edge. I leave a little bit because. See, I done messed up right there. Because sometimes you get over out of the field and you can't. It won't let you plow it unless you actually, make a new field or a new row. Sorry for the pause. I get in my groove here and don't think about talking. All right. Again, this ain't perfect, but I think you understand where we're going. Alright, so now you have your first field done for, your field's done, and we want to see if they work. So let's go ahead and save this. Been about an hour, so this will probably be all for this one. So anyway, we're going to save it. I know I just saved it, but I'm going to save it again. I'm going to close this down. Close this down. And let's open it up and see what happens. Now, open up your. I see I didn't adjust this one. are these two. That's why I see all the numbers in the center. You can go back in there, and where it says whatever the area it's in or whatever, you can adjust that a little bit to make it in there more. But there's your 3 fields, and as you can see, this one's blue because we own it. Now, just for testing purposes, I'm going to go ahead and see about if it works or not. The field didn't look real big in there, but it turned out to be a decent sized field over there. So we're going to let the worker work on this for a minute. I want to see if we got contracts now. See there? And put them in there, and then you already got contracts to do. I mean, they don't pay much, but it's something to do. So, what did that say? Fertilizing. Let's just do some fertilizing too while I finish up here. I like the sound of this tractor. Let's see here. Probably a little big for this tractor, but that'd be alright. Cheat a little bit here. I can't remember which one said what. Let's see here. Fertilizing. So contract field 1. Let's do field 2. Let's see. Accept. Okay. Well, so we got this far done. You get all the basic needs of what the map needs, or, as far as that goes. You know how to do farmlands now. You know sort of how to place things. I think in the next episode I will show you how to make your own sell point if you want to do that. And I can show you a way how to take other things and add things to them to make a certain one work the way you want it to. But for now, I think that's it. I hope maybe this helps somebody learn something. Until next time, y'all take her easy.